Melechim Shenai, 2 Kings 9. And Elisha the prophet called one of the children of the prophets, and said unto him, Gird up your loins, and take this box of oil in your hand, and go to Ramoth Gilead. And when you come thither, look out there Yahu the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, and go in, and make him arise up from among his brethren, and carry him to an inner chamber. Then take the box of oil, and pour it on his head, and say, Thus says Yahweh, I have anointed you king over El Yasharel. Then open the door, and flee, and tarry not. So the young man, even the young man the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead. And when he came, behold, the captains of the host were sitting. And he said, I have an errand to you, O captain. And Yahu said, Unto which of all us? And he said, To you, O captain. And he arose, and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, Thus says Yahweh Elohi of Yasharel, I have anointed you king over the people of Yahweh, even over El Yasharel. And you shall smite the house of Agab your master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of Yahweh, at the hand of Isabel. For the whole house of Agab shall perish, and I will cut off from Agab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Yasharel. And I will make the house of Agab like the house of Yeravam the son of Nevat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Achiyahu. And the dogs shall eat Isabel in the portion of Yisrael, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door, and fled. Then Yahu came forth to the servants of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to you? And he said unto them, Ye know the man, and his communication. And they said, It is false. Tell us now. And he said, Thus and thus spoke he to me, saying, Thus says Yahweh, I have anointed you king over El Yasharel. Then they hasted, and took every man his garment, and put it under him on the top of the stairs, and blew with the shofar, saying, Yahu is king. So Yahu the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram had guarded Ramoth Gilead, he and all Yasharel, because of Hazael king of Aram. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Israel of the wounds which the Aramean had given him, when he fought with Hazael king of Aram. And Yahu said, If it be your minds, then let none go forth, nor escape out of the city to go to tell it in Israel. So Yahu rode in a chariot, and went to Israel. For Joram lay there, and Achaziahu, king of Yehudah, was come down to see Joram. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Israel. And he spied the company of Yahu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Joram said, Take a horseman, and send to meet them, and let him say, Is it peace? So there went one on horseback to meet him, and said, Thus says the king, Is it peace? And Yahu said, What have you to do with peace? Turn behind me. And the watchman told, saying, The messenger came to them, but he comes not again. Then he sent out a second on horseback, which came to them, and said, Thus says the king, Is it peace? And Yahu answered, What have you to do with peace? Turn behind me. And the watchman told, saying, He came even unto them, and comes not again. And the driving is like the driving of Yahu the son of Nimshi, for he drives furiously. And Joram said, Make ready. And his chariot was made ready. And Joram king of Yasharel, and Achaziahu king of Yehudah, went out, each in his chariot. And they went out against Yahu, and met him in the portion of Naboth the Israeli. And it came to pass, when Joram saw Yahu, that he said, Is it peace, Yahu? And he answered, What peace? so long as the whoredoms of your mother Isabel and her witchcrafts are so many. And Joram turned his hands and fled, and said to Achaziahu, There is treachery, O Achaziahu. And Yahu drew a bow with his full strength, and smote Jehoram between his arms. And the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. Then said Yahu to Bidkar his captain, Take up and cast him in the portion of the field of Naboth the Yisraeli. For remember how that, when I and you rode together after Achaz his father, Yahuwah laid this burden upon him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth, and the blood of his sons, says Yahuwah. And I will requite you in this plat, says Yahuwah. Now therefore take and cast him into the plat of ground, according to the word of Yahuwah. But when Achaziahu the king of Yehudah saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house. And Yahu followed after him, and said, Smite him also in the chariot. And they did so, at the going up to Gur, which is by Yivleam. And he fled to Megiddo, and died there. And his servants carried him in a chariot to Yerushalayim, and buried him in his sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Achav, began Achaziahu to reign over Yehudah. And when Yahu was come to Yisrael, Isabel heard of it, and she painted her face, and tired her head, and looked out a window. And as Yahu entered in at the gate, she said, Had Zimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window, and said, Who is on my side? Who? And there stood out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, Throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall, and on the horses, and he trode her underfoot. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and said, Go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull, and the feet, and the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told her. And he said, This is the word of Yahuwah, which he spoke by his servant Eliyahu the Tishbe, saying, In the portion of Yisrael shall dogs eat the flesh of Isabel, and the carcass of Isabel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Yisrael, so that they shall not say, This is Isabel.